fact, plans to start a college fund for her with his Jeopardy earnings. Well, after 4 wins and over $78,000, that fund is off to a great start. Can he add to it today with another win and secure a spot in the 2023 Tournament of Champions? Or will it be Pam or Chris who ends the week with us as Jeopardy champion? It is time to start finding out, my friends. Good luck. We go now into the Jeopardy round and these categories. First, we have some supernatural stories. Then, official state stuff, sandwiches, a pro team in that sport, then popes under the scope, and finally, it's over. Notice the quotation marks. David, start us off.
Pro team in that sport, 600.
The Montreal Alouettes. Chris.
What is Canadian football?
Yes, the CFL.
Supernatural stories, 800.
The answer there? It's the Daily Double in the round. That's a little spooky already, Chris. How much would you like to wager? You can wager up to 1,000.
1,000, please.
All right, here's your clue in supernatural stories. A swan dive into this saga of books tells us in 2007, the third one in the series sold 150,000 copies in one day.
What is Twilight?
Twilight is correct, yes. You have $1,600.
Pro team, 1,000.
The Seattle Kraken. David?
What is professional hockey?
That's it.
Pro team, 800.
The Chicago Sky. Chris?
What is the WNBA? Women's basketball?
Basketball is the sport, yes.
It's over 600.
This hairstyle used to cover up a bald spot often just draws more attention to it. Pam?
What is a comb over?
Good.
It's over for 800, please.
Nearly cut from the film, this classic ballad won the Oscar for Best Song of 1939. Pam?
What is Somewhere Over the Rainbow?
Correct again.
It's over 1,000.
The Allied invasion that began June 6th, 1944 was codenamed Operation This. Chris?
What is Overlord?
You got it.
Sandwiches, 600.
Made with various fillings, then rolled up and cut, the sandwiches seen here have this spirally name. David?
What is a roll?
No. Pam?
What is roulade?
No. Chris, you look like you don't want to give it a shot. Those are pinwheels. Apparently pinwheels. Chris?
Supernatural stories, 4.
It's the alliterative and just flat-out cooler alternate name of the Galloping Hessian of the Hollow. Pam?
What is the Headless Horseman?
You got it.
Supernatural stories for 600.
First name of Ira Levin's Mrs. Woodhouse. A New Yorker with child. Ominous child. Chris?
Who is Rosemary?
From Rosemary's Baby.
Over 400.
By definition, hyperthyroidism is a condition in which the thyroid is this. David?
What is overactive?
Yes.
It's over 200.
In both the Old and New Testaments, it's referred to as the Feast of Unleavened Bread. Pam?
What is Passover?
You got it.
Sandwiches for 800.
Meats and cheeses, or carnitas, are popular fillings for this 5-letter Mexican sandwich served on a crusty roll. David?
What is a torta?
That's good.
Popes under the scope, 1,000.
In 1492, Pinturicchio worked blue and other colors, decorating apartments for Alexander VI, named for this family of Alexanders. David?
Were the Medicis?
No. There were Medici popes, but Alexander was a Borgia. David, back to you.
Popes, 800.
Called the world's smallest army, this corps of 135 has officially protected the Pope since 1506. David?
What is the Swiss Guard?
That's correct. It moves you into a tie with Pam for second place. Chris has the lead, and we have arrived at our first commercial break. Back in a moment. From Ocean City, New Jersey. Now, Johnny announced you as a customer success operations manager, but you have a second career, don't you, Chris?
Well, back in the halcyon days of the early 2000s, a lot of my friends and I were playing poker, as people were wont to do back then, and it turns out I was pretty good at it, and for a few years I did it professionally.
But you don't play anymore?
I play a little bit, but certainly not the stakes I used to.
Is poker good Jeopardy preparation?
I think it can be, yes.
I mean, it's high pressure game, a lot of money at stake.
Certainly true.
It served James Holzhauer very well, of course. Pam Warren is a high school teacher from Petersburg, Illinois, who once got a very unusual gift from her students. What happened?
It was actually from a coworker coworker, but I am a clumsy person, and one day when I was supervising a study hall in my lab, I sat down on a bench and fell off completely backwards, knocked myself in the head, and had a concussion.
Oh.
And when I came back to work 2 days later, a coworker of mine had kindly created for me out of bubble wrap and string a teaching helmet.
That's the kind of kind coworker you want.
Yes.
Looking for joke opportunities in your concussion. David Sibley's an Episcopal priest from Walla Walla. Now we know about your daughter. Tell us about your wife. How did you two get engaged?
So we got engaged on the plaza at Lincoln Center after attending La Boheme at the Metropolitan Opera. She said yes, we're still married, which is in and of itself a little miraculous because after the afterglow had faded, I went into my rant about how La Boheme gets the ending right and Rent gets the ending wrong. And my wife used to travel down from Boston to see Rent on a regular basis.
Classic romantic gesture. Well, you have control of the board, David. Get us back into the game.
Let's do Popes Under the Scope for 600.
Pope Francis has likened traveling by this conveyance to being in a sardine can. Pam?
What is the Pope Mobile?
That's right.
Sandwiches, 400.
A muffaletta with cold cuts, cheese, and olive salad is a specialty of this U.S. city. Chris?
What is New Orleans?
Good.
Sandwiches, 1,000.
This Vietnamese sandwich, typically with pork or chicken and pickled vegetables on a baguette, has become popular in the U.S. as well. Pam?
What is banh mi?
Yes, it looks delicious.
Official state stuff for 400.
A vine-ripe variety of this is the state fruit and the state vegetable of Arkansas. Chris?
What is tomato?
Yeah.
Popes, 400.
The Pope's official titles include Vicar of Christ and this of Rome. David?
What is Bishop?
That's right.
Popes Under the Scope, 200.
The Pope alone creates Catholic clergy of this rank in a private assembly in which they receive their red hats. Pam?
What is Archbishop?
No. David?
What is Cardinal?
Cardinals, you got it.
Official state stuff, 800.
Connecticut's official state hero is this schoolmaster and spy who died at age 21 in 1776. Pam?
Who is Hale?
Nathan Hale, right you are.
Supernatural Stories, 200.
Use your brains, and no, Colson Whitehead's Zone 1 has a different Mark Spitz taking on feral these creatures. Chris?
What are zombies?
Yes.
Official state stuff, 1,000.
State pie. For Illinois, it's this seasonal favorite. Pam?
What is pumpkin pie?
1,000 more for you.
Supernatural Stories, 1,000.
Anne Rice had this guy introduce himself directly in line 1. I am the vampire, him. I'm immortal, more or less. Chris?
Who is Lestat?
That's correct, 1,000 more for you.
Pro Team, 400.
The Mumbai Indians. David?
What is Cricket?
Yes, with less than a minute to go in the round.
State stuff, 600.
The state song of Kansas is this one, where seldom is heard a discouraging word. David?
What is Home on the Plain?
No. Chris?
What is Home on the Range?
On the range, yes.
Sandwiches, 2.
A favorite of the king himself, an Elvis sandwich is filled with peanut butter and this fruit. David?
What is Banana?
Right.
Protein, 200.
The Yomi...
I think Denton is very progressive in the way they talk about health and especially mental health. Core principle.
Giants. Chris?
What is baseball?
That's right. And the last clue in official state stuff. By a 1972 law, California's official reptile is the desert variety of this slow mover. Pam?
What is tortoise?
That's correct. At the end of the Jeopardy round, Chris is in the lead. David will select first in Double Jeopardy when we come back. He's been at third place at this point in the game before, and he came back to win. Let's see what happens today in Double Jeopardy. Here are your categories. Bodies of water. As credited on their IMDb page, same first and last consonant. Then we have beg, borrow, and steal. David, what strikes your fancy?
Bodies of water, 16.
The beauty of Lake Kachura in Pakistan has earned it this name, popularized by novelist James Hilton to mean heaven on earth. Chris?
What is Shangri-La?
You got it.
Bodies of water, 12.
The answer there is the Daily Double. First in the round. You have the lead, Chris.
I will wager 7,000.
Wow. All right. You'll have 15,400 if you're correct. Here's your clue in bodies of water. The Bay of Tangier makes up part of the western end of this strait.
What is the Strait of Gibraltar?
You are correct. That's a big move. Select again.
Big, 1600.
The Jewish festival of Purim celebrates the time that this woman pleaded for the safety of the Jews from Haman. Pam.
Who is Esther?
That's correct.